Good afternoon, all. CamelbackTrading.org coming to you this Wednesday afternoon, November 30th. We are looking at Window Traders' market profile of the ES and SPY. We have a lot to talk about. Let's get to it. It's amazing how a couple of things that were amazing. Number one, the way we defended last week's low. I have this in 10-tick increments, so the profile's a little screwy, but to get it all in there, I had to do that. We have a poor low in ES. We have three lows in ES that are very close together, okay? And two of them right now are weekly lows. And if we don't take out, today's low, again, it's like four lows that are close to each other. Eventually, they'll get hit. It's amazing how they defended that. It's amazing how much volume we put in down at 39.50. I've been going back and forth with my buddy now for a while. When we traded at 39.50 a couple of times, he asked, what's next? 40.50, 38.50. I kept telling him 40.50. Yesterday, he asked me, well, again, what do you say? I said, as long as we don't take out last week's low, I said, I still think 40.50. I said, if we take out last week's low, something changed. So what happened today? We couldn't even take out yesterday's low, which wasn't that far away from last week's low. And boom, forget about 40.50. We almost took back that entire gap from September 12th and 13th. Now, another interesting note. Value ends unchanged. We never could lift value to overlap in a high because we did so much business down here that we stay below yesterday's value and above yesterday's value, so it's unchanged. We go out with a price probe and a triple distribution day in SPY and ES. Triple Qs, triple distribution day, and a price probe. Now, Russell's pretty interesting. Russell, they go out with a double distribution day and a price probe, but they have an outside day up. And they also came out of a weekly inside week to the downside and now have a possibility of an outside week or an inside week up and an outside week up. We had an inside day yesterday in IWM. We were below it. Look how many time frames. Boy, did that fail. And the inside day up, boom, exploded. So these short-term traders take market-generated information and distort it a lot. I had an okay day today, nothing special. I did not do a lot in the afternoon. Once again, from what I understand, I don't care what Powell says. I don't watch any of it. I have no interest. But from the people in my trading room, he didn't say anything that was any different. That was any different at all. Now, I know the market was short the last 3 days, right? We tried to push down and everything. But this is not short covering all of it. I can tell you that. We have really good volume today. All right. We have on the tape right now 123 million with the after hours. So, yes, this was definitely short covering to begin with, but there was some heavy buying in there. So we'll see how that translates. We got above the 200. Now, like I told my room, being above the 200 or below it today would not have mattered to me. One day does not make a market. Plain and simple. Okay? It just doesn't. And if we start getting acceptance above it, now I'm still calling the daily balance, and you'll see why on the chart. If this daily really wants to go up, well, tomorrow we should easily take out today's high, and then the daily's up. The weekly, I was always keeping up. Some people had it in balance. And the monthly is in balance, and it's a nice looking monthly candle. So if we can get legs now above today's high, well, September's high should fall rather easily once we fill this gap. And then we start setting our sights on August high. And again, the progression of lower highs could be taken away, and we could see a nice little Santa Claus rally and test August high. Now, I know there's still a lot ahead of us. Yeah, personal consumption tomorrow, non-farm payroll Friday, and then in less than 2 weeks, you got CPI and the Fed again. It's never-ending bullshit. But The market does what it wants to do. Okay? I mean, we can use every excuse in the world why this market ripped. It's not like Powell came out and there was a halo over him and he declared that inflation's over and everything's okay. He didn't do any of the sort. So for my money's worth, again, is that a catalyst today? Probably. But the bigger thing is what? What did the market try to do the last 2 days? It tried to get last week's low, and it couldn't get it. So once it failed, well, that was all she wrote. They defended 39.50 pretty damn good a bunch of times, and that's all she wrote. I shorted A period twice and made money on that. And then I got almost chopped up, but broke even in B and C, on a long in B and on a short in C. At first, I thought there'd be no single prints. We'd get going. Well, so I broke even in B and C. I went nowhere. D period I made on a short against the 144. E period I made on a short against the opening. Should have taken another one, which would have paid really handsome, but I didn't. Because I told the room I think we're going to be rotational once we fill the single prints in B until Powell started speaking. So they stretched the opening a little bit, and then they came down and made a new low in F and G, which should have been buys for me, and I didn't do that either, and they came right back in. Again, ES has a poor low. Then in J period, I did take one long to go fill a smaller gap we had in ES, and then I actually took a short up at the, what level was it? I forgot exactly what level it was. It was right when SPY was getting close to the 200, their 200. And again, I made 3 points on the long, I made 3 points on the short, and that was it. It's very easy to look at this and said, yes, I should have just been long the entire time. We went up $10 from where change took place. And if anybody did that, God bless you. Great job. Seriously, that's just a great job. I'm not built that way. Again, I still made money today. I'm not, when he's talking and everything, I'm not crazy to really want to get involved. So no big deal. I don't have a problem with what I did today, P&L wise. Destinations for the upside, SPY. And again, write these down because they're all new ones and I'm not going to repeat them. 407.68 is today's high. And then fill in the gap. That gap gets filled at 408.46 from September 13th. There's 78 cents left. I had it wrong. I had it at 407 and change. Somebody thankfully pointed it out in my room. So it's 408.46. Then we're 10 wide at 410.27 from September 12th. 411.08 afternoon rally high from September 12th. And then 411.73. That is September's monthly high. I think that is a very, very doable target that should be hit. Above that, I'm not going to give them to you now, but there's a lot of single prints from back in August. So that's something we'll go forward with maybe tomorrow if we go higher. For the downside, here we go. Price probe, 405.44. 3 sets of single prints that are large. 405.33 to 403.49. Second set, 401.96 to 400. Third set, 399.67 to 396.21. And today's low of 393.48. In ES, upside, today's high of 83.50, filling the gap at 4103.75. 23.75.11 wide from the 12th. 41.37.75 weekly high. And then again, we have single prints above that, which I'll give tomorrow if it looks like we're going to be going higher. For the downside in ES, price probe 63 1/4. 3 sets of single prints, 61.75 to 44. Second set, 28 to 08.50. Third set, 04.75 to 39.70.50. And then today's low, which is a poor low of 39.42.75. I know it's longer, but I think it's worth it. Again, I will not be here Friday. Let's go to the charts. So here is SPY. End of the month. That's a nice monthly hammer there and above the trend line. So September closed at 357. We're at 407. We're up $50 for the month. Okay? So 10% from 357 is $35. Well, we're up, what did I say? $50. Oh, yeah, $50. So we're up a pretty good percentage so far this quarter, which the bulls really needed. So the monthly is still balanced. Next destination is September's high. Weekly is still up for me. We got pretty damn close to taking out last week's low. Never got it. Look at where they were coming. Here's your succession of lower highs. Here's the all-time high. Then here's the high from back in March. Here's the high from back in August. I did not, right? So I don't care if we get above September's. That's going to be bullish. But to break the succession of lower highs on the weekly, we need to take out August high of 431.73. But still, very healthy right now. It looks like this trend line will bump our head right around that September high. So that's going to be important to see if we get above it. So we're up on the weekly, balance on the monthly. Now, the daily I had down coming into today. So it's only balance. All right, now a lot of people incorporated this as a huge balance. If you did and you want to call the daily up, I have no problem with that. Because if the market is going to be that strong going forward, what should happen? Well, we should take out today's high tomorrow rather easily, right? So if we do that, what am I going to be calling the daily? Up. I just like the market to prove itself a little bit to me. That's all. So if we take out tomorrow's high, we're up. If we trade inside of yesterday's range, still balance for me. That's all. So we're above the 200 right now by $3. But again, one day does not make a market. So we'll see what kind of follow through we get. However, the range and the volume is quite impressive. You know, if money managers might want to start putting some money to work here. Here's the thing though, and I was talking about this in the room as far as like the bigger picture. We're down 14% on the year. But just think about it. So far this quarter, we've taken back what? 13%? We were down what? 20-something percent. If we end this year, say we go and get August high and test it, and we end the year only down 7% or something, or 8%, you know, everybody's going to think, well, this is just normal. We go down, 25%, but, we're never going to really be down. Look at the Dow. The Dow's only down 5% right now. So it will be interesting how strong a December we have, if we do have a strong one, and how we do close it out. And then just quickly on IWM, so here's their weekly. They took out last week's low. They took out last week's high. It's still balanced, but they have a chance for an outside week up. And for that matter, an outside week down if they fail. So that's something to keep an eye on for them. And triple Qs on the weekly, same thing. A chance for an outside week up or down. They took out both sides of last week. They're still balanced. So Russell and Qs are balanced on the weekly. SPY is up. SPY never took out the weekly low. Thanks so much for liking and subscribing to this YouTube channel. We keep a lot of people out of trouble in our trading room. It's $30 a month for now, ladies and gentlemen. Right? Come check us out at camelbacktrading.org. I hope you had a good day trading. Rest up, and we'll speak prior to the opening tomorrow.